Good evening, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer fans, and anyone else joining us. I'm Caleb. I'm here joined by the RPG chick. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Oh, you just said how you're doing. I told you I'm only slightly disoriented tonight, but not as disoriented as our runners are going to be with this chaos seed.
That is correct. We have a quite a bit of a showcase for the viewers out there. If you haven't seen Mystic Quest Randomizer Everything Shuffle, you're in for a treat. Our runners are going to be taking notes. We have Malkier taking notes for us. It's going to be wild. Everywhere on the world map can lead to anywhere in the game. And for the most part, Focus Tower or Doom Tower is still going to be sort of self-contained, but it's a treat. And we have Giga, Hebbings, and Sir Link a lot going to show off, and they're playing with a couple different features on. We have the Shattered Sky Coin that's going to break up the Sky Coin into 24 pieces that we will need to collect in order to gain access into the Doom Tower proper. Where they can find sky coins is going to be in any red box that we find in the world. So red boxes can be anywhere where we find chests in the vanilla game, where you find those spells or weapons, but also they could be in brown box locations. So all those little boxes in towns and the small caves, any one of those could be turned into a red box, could have a sky fragment, could have a key item. Um, we are going to have a random starting weapon turned on. Um, there is a feature that allows for progressive formation. So, like, if you walk into the very first dungeon, so to speak, on the overworld, you might run into a very scary floor. Like, you might hit a volcano floor, you might hit a like Mount Gale or something like that. And those fights on there are going to be those fights from the end game. And if you did the progressive formations, then it's going to be the early game enemies and the late game dungeon floors. But we'll get into that more when we start exploring what this seed is going to do. Um, RBG Chick, is there anything you want to mention before we drop the gate and let our runners do their thing?
Just to mention that we do have Melkier helping us out with tracking today, so we are very appreciative of that for sure.
Yes, their work is cut out for them for sure. You see, everybody's got their character made, so I guess we'll go ahead and count you down. I guess we'll go on go. So five, four, three, two, one, go. Um, our runners are now deafened, and they're going to be doing the thing. This is I'm a little nervous. Full. I haven't ran one of these seeds RPG chick in probably a month, 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. And these can be wild. You can see right away walking to that first entrance, and it is a sky tower. Cupid lock it right away is pretty sweet. Going to get us our um, skill or status resistances. And then we see a ship here in the next entrance, and that's going to take us to volcanoes. So you can see having already and Link checking out these entrances, not willing to take on a fight yet, but
I
can't be mad
mean,
at that.
I can't blame him because that looks pretty frightening to me.
That's fair. That's fair. If we find Spencer, and he gives us our first real progression with the sand coin, and there you see Hebbings and Link both picking up those sky coins in this wintry cave. And doing a little peek up there, looking at that box. We don't have bombs, we don't have a claw, so we can't progress any further in here. We don't even have Phoebe to get the item.
This
And
is my first time seeing the complete shuffle like this,
it's
so
wild.
it is absolutely wild. I love it.
In my experiences playing around with these for fun, I've always like said on stream I could never imagine racing these, and you can now see why. Um, but there's I'm sure we'll see it pretty quickly. Like when you see those floors, like we've already seen a couple different floors from the Pazuzu's tower, and in my experience, we'll start to see those floors that have a lot of different entrances and exits from the floors kind of looping back in on themselves to kind of create this little mini loop. As Link already checking the early Doom Tower. That's a spicy play.
Thankfully, we
See.
do have a couple of things to help our runners a bit here. So instead of the full enemy density, we do only have a 50% enemy density. So half the enemies that would be on the screen are missing.
Hmm.
And we do have a scaling of 50% all the way up to 150% for both the regular enemies and the bosses. So if they're lucky, they'll roll low at the beginning and give themselves a little bit of a break.
So, quick catch up. Hebbings through the sand coin and into the Aquaria area and has found our first claw, in addition to life and cure in the Aquaria Inn, which was through the, I believe, the Bone Dungeon entrance here, which is normally the battlefield entrance south of Wintry Cave. It's a lot to keep track of. But you can see Giga and Hebbings both trying their hand at combat. Hebbings getting kind of blown up here by quaking metal slimes. Lucky enough to get away there, and Giga fighting with a chimera and doesn't. And I think we blocked ourselves in because now we made a new game. So Giga's starting over from scratch, even though he had a save. So I guess he saved himself from doing like essentially a soft lock, not being able to get out of that chimera fight, and maybe didn't save right beforehand. So unfortunate there for Giga.
Yeah, but both Hebinks and Linkalot have Tristram 2, which
Mhm.
is not that much better than Tristram 1 in terms of magic and things like that, but at least he's a face tank for you.
Yeah, he's got a massive amount of health, and he has a life spell, so it'll do. He could probably solo some fights. He does have pretty good speed, so he should be outspeeding most enemies. And with the shurikens, has the potential to paralyze them. I learned that through the randomizer because
Same.
I was doing a race with some of these fellows, and it was not a good time because you basically had to take Tristram 1 to Mount Gale to fight Dullahan to get progression. And
I was in that race.
yeah, that's right.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember that.
I think that's the last time I quote unquote competitively raced MQR. It's like, this is not worth my mental health. But Hemming's getting a second shard here as we find Fireberg, and you can see Fireberg kind of looping around in on itself as this little wormhole the hotel turns into the shop. That's a dead end. So our only place to go would be the multi-key now. But now he's going to try to take on these chimeras. And we'll see what happens here. All right.
That was an interesting one. The Pazuzu's tower entrance, kind of leading you into a treasure, but yet a dead end in the ice pyramid.
There's so much to keep track of. RPG Chick. I don't think we can give enough credit to Malkier for the tracking. Like, this is something else. And if you're out there watching, if you wanna get in on this, you wanna play the randomizer for yourself. ffmqrando.net. There's the randomizer website. All you got to do is bring in a copy of a ROM that you have and get in on the fun. It is a lot of fun. This is a game that I played a lot as a kid with the Super Nintendo, and I never minded that it was kind of like a quote-unquote easier game. It was just always kind of fun to run around, and it's a little bit different than the other JRPGs that I had available to me, and you could jump. I was always a big fan of that.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing though is if you do what I did and you learn to speedrun it, you learn that jumping actually eats your frames. And it was a very sad day for everything.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that. I still just like holding down B and just watching Ben go.
Oh, I agree.
He's just so happy about it. Oh, I missed where Giga got the Mobius crest that our other runners haven't found yet.
Likewise, because as you say, there is a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
Melchior is doing a better job of it than we are.
So we do have Heavings with the X-Cal is pretty good. That's going to increase Benjamin's attack speed and help him kind of get the jump even at these lower levels and do massive damage as well. So always like having an in-game weapon in the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, getting any one of those late game weapons is always really, really nice early on.
Yeah. Heavings making pretty good progress here, diving these deeper dungeons, and you can see it hits a little roadblock there, and that's where the game can kind of, for me anyway, can get a little tricky, like with your note keeping, because now you have this big sprawling sort of flow chart of dungeon floors and towns that kind of lead into each other, and way down in Phoebe's house and wherever Aquaria was, like, you have a dragon claw lock that you might be able to progress with. And in like 40 minutes, will you remember that that dragon claw lock is there if that's potentially gating progression?
Yeah. Unfortunately, even with the claw, it looks like there's not too much Giga can do here because he does not have the bombs.
Yeah. And there, yeah, and he's gonna get the backdoor loop around there. So I mean, it's some information. You know, there's that one box to check there that was unfortunately just a brown box for him. But
Yeah, might be checking the brown boxes to look for seeds, is my guess.
that's a good call. Yeah. Seeds are a lifeline in this game, and something I definitely took for granted in vanilla run-throughs as a kid.
Does the item dupe still? Because I think that was the one glitch that was still working the last time I really looked at it. Does the item duplication still work, or did Ham finally program that out?
As far as I know, I think the item dupe glitch was still there. It just didn't have a lot of effect. Like there wasn't a effectivity for it. And Malkir is confirming that Mobius Crest was in the Great Cave to the left of Aquarius. So, thank you. I just noticed our broadcast notes Discord channel, so don't mind me. Another sky fragment there for Heavings, and it seems like Giga's reset isn't that much of a hindrance. Like it's that time pretty quickly that he lost when the reset out of that Chimera fight.
Yeah, they're all trying to make really quick work of whatever they can get through at the moment. And now Link-A-Lot is going to be the last one to do this little mini dip here into the Winter Cave, and unfortunately not be rewarded for his efforts.
Yeah, now it looks like now we have to go back and to these early dungeons that we didn't have anything to take on these late game fights with. But now we're a little more confident. We got an X-Cal, we got 400 health. We might be able to soak some hits. We don't really have much in the way of defense other than that health pool. But the Cupid Locket will help. But still no big damaging spells. No AoE, so no grenades or anything like that. Or any bomb, really. Any bomb would be huge, I would imagine. That might be our next major form of progression.
Yeah, it seems likely considering that they're not only blocked off from stuff in the Wintry Cave, but they're also blocked off from stuff in Zuzu's tower. But Giga has stumbled on Ruben's house.
Yeah, I love it. Ruben 1, like Tristram, isn't that exciting straight up, but he's a good health pool. He's got, pretty big power with that Morning Star. Ruben 2, if we find the mine and we can get to the end and get past the genie, then we can get Ruben 2. And Ruben 2 with the white spell is pretty good. We never get to find Phoebe anytime soon.
Yeah, Ruben 2 and Kelly 2, they're not the best partners to have for sure, but they will do in a clutch.
Yeah. Link has worked his way back through, and just like having some of these earlier locations and finding lots of red boxes, and there's our first axe for Hebbings. As Link is in this Volcano 1 floor. So far it's been a lot of sky coins that we've been finding, so I don't know where. And when you're playing the game as a runner, if you go into your menu and you go and look at your items, there is a counter that tells you how many shards you have, so you'll at least know. You don't have to kind of be counting on all your fingers and toes on how many shattered sky coins you found. But there's a little inn. So now another thing worth remembering for folks looking at this for the first time: walking out of the volcano counts as an entrance, because now we're on a completely different Pazuzu floor. So that's something worth remembering when you find yourself in a town or the first floor of a dungeon and you're not walking into that first floor entrance through the everything shuffle. You gotta walk out that front door and see where it takes you. Well, Tristram 2 gives us Tristram 1's item.
Wow.
Today
nice
I learned
mega grenades.
Yeah. Today I learned. I was wondering if that would work. But,
yeah, I imagine regardless of whichever character version you have in your party, as long as it's that character, you would get the item from them.
And I think Tristram is probably the only one that you can get the second. But every runner here with a little bit of, and there's Ruben's dad. So Aegis and a shield upgrade. I think it was the Venus shield. Or no, it's Aegis.
Aegis shield,
Aegis
yeah.
and there was something back there. G-check.
There definitely was, Caleb.
I don't know if you know this, but there's something else back there. So it's fun to see. Hebbings has Ruben, Giga has Ruben, Link has Tristram, but found Ruben's turn-in behind Tristram's turn-in. So it's not really going to be in anyone's cards to be able to do these checks all at once without double dipping. But
but now that Giga has that axe, he can make some quick work of the Alive Forest and check a whole bunch of little things.
Yeah, and he does have the one crest, so we do have crest shuffle on, so we don't know what crests are going to be underneath these trees, but we do have to pop through them if we can. And of course we don't have the Gemini crest.
And unfortunately, it's the last crest that Giga is going to unturn.
We'll see if our giant frosty crab turns into anything, as now Hebbings is into this volcano area, and he will find the Tristram turn-in, but without Tristram. So won't be able to get those mega grenades. As you can see, Giga
Gotta hurt.
Yeah, he doesn't know that, but it's a big bummer. You can see some runners kind of pausing for a half a beat when they hit a new floor, and they just tell they're scribbling down a note.
Yeah, kudos to them for keeping track of this stuff. This is why I didn't do Link to the Past randos this.
Yeah, I can do these with Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, and without, notes still definitely help, but those floors are all generally so linear. There's only 2 floors in that entire game that have splits where you can go left or right, kind of, and you can see if you're watching that there's so many different floors that have at least 3 exits. It can branch and break off and just turn into all kinds of different stuff. And um, it's a lot. It's a lot to take care of, and make sure you don't forget anything. And to race it, I mean, hats off to these runners for even attempting it.
You're not kidding.
Oh, that's fun. So Link just went through a wormhole of people's back doors and ended up back into the pyramid. It's the scene at the end of Ferris Bueller with him just running through the backyards. Right, there's the bad news for Hebbings that he finds the Tristan turning without Tristan.
Giga is coming up on Gidra though, so
Would you? So I was gonna, and he does have the guy armor, and so if you're in Giga's spot, do you try to fight Ghidra?
doing Gidra at 400 HP is pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in the speed run, you try not to get to Gidra until you have about 560 HP, just because of how much damage you can do with some of his attacks. It might be doable with the Gaia armor though. You might be able to swing it if he gets really lucky on RNG.
Right. Now, it is fascinating to look at. I was expecting, I don't know why I was expecting this. I'm not always a smart person. But I was expecting like much more sort of like runners experiencing kind of the same thing. Like there's so much variance throughout this run. Like to just look at the key item loadouts for the different runners, like there's a lot of overlap with some items, but if you kind of push all their item blocks together and this for some sort of co-op seed, they'd be almost in go mode. Like gear wise.
True.
It's like Hebbings has got the hat and an axe, and Link has got the shield, while Giga's got the armor.
And if you notice, Giga was actually going out of his way to gain a couple more levels here to see if he could take on Ghidra.
I was going to comment on that. Like in the absence of like battlefields to get some levels on, taking these fights in these late game dungeons, if you can get through them, it's a heads up play for Giga for sure.
Plus, he might get lucky and get some, because I know we have our enemy attacks randomized as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so he might get lucky and have something not terrible on Ghidra.
Sure, might be. I could be optimistic too. As Link pulls Medusa, we do have a quick update from Malkir. So we have Spencer gave us a sand coin. The Wintry Cave gave us a bunch of sky coins. Wait, I'm not following that. Never mind. Oh, Medusa's got duplicate.
Oh, fun. That's just what you want to see.
Yeah, so far just it looks like duplicate and poison. So not bad. The thing with duplicate is when she copies herself, she'll be copied at whatever her HP was at the copy. So you can see Link is probably gonna just kind of walk back to just Mega Grenades to kind of evenly damage these Medusa all the way down. I do see that that's not Doomquake. Nope, it's Doom Dance, so that's not the most exciting thing to see.
Doom Dance, you hate to see it all the time, no matter who's got it.
Yeah. Now, what could protect them from Doom Dance RPG Chick?
I'm pretty sure there is nothing that can protect them from Doom Dance.
Oh no, I thought there was at least one thing. I thought there was some hope out there.
I don't think that there is, because even the Aegis Shield is just a petrification defense, so...
See, yeah, you really do hate to see.
That's why having Zoo in the spot where Zoo usually is so devastating, because he can just Doom Dance back to back and you're done.
Yeah. It is kind of nice that like Link can just throw Tristram on autopilot to throw out the life spells right away with even within the same turn. Like once you hit battle and attack, like you can flip to auto and Tristram will still throw out that life spell.
Yeah, the AI for this game works pretty decently well when it comes to using life and cure spells because they are automatic. So if Ben is down, they will use it regardless,
Yeah.
even if he died in that turn. And if your HP drops down below half or to half or below, I should say, and you have cure and you have your partner on auto and they have a cure spell, they will use it.
You said it much better than I did. Thank you. Thank you for that.
If you say so.
I was just like, sometimes they do things, and when you do things, they did the thing. But you can see what the minute I first played the randomizer here, I very quickly learned how well balanced Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is as a vanilla game. Because when you get into this randomizer, you very quickly see how unbalanced it can be when you hit many bosses without the gear that you're given in the game naturally. And then when you start playing with HP values, you can really see Sir Link-a-Lot is just on this Medusa treadmill. Like, we'll get through it. We're going to use every resource we have. It's going to take a lot of life spells, but we're going to punch through it. And I think that's mostly possible with this loadout because Medusa only really has the one very devastating ability, and she doesn't seem too keen on throwing out multiple Doom Dances.
Right.
So it's I'm sure if you're a Link, you're just kind of making there's a lot of deep breaths and just focusing on making sure that not one of these Medusa keeps too much HP in case when the first one dies, they're probably going to immediately duplicate.
Well, I'll tell you, Link and I were in the semifinals or something close to that, yeah. When we did the tournament, and he did spend like a long time on a zoo fight, just not giving up. So Link is a very determined runner, and if he has set his mind to something, he will absolutely get it done.
Yeah. He was also, I believe, in that seed that we were talking about earlier with that Tristram One Dolahan seed. I think he was one of the few runners that didn't just forfeit out of that seed.
Yeah, I think there was only 2 or 3 of us that decided not to forfeit that seed.
Yeah, I think it was. That's right. I think it was you, Link, and I think it was X10.
Maybe, yeah. But Hebink's also taking down Ghidra where Giga did not. So if he does come across that meteor chest, if it is a chest,
True.
He'll be able to open it. Get to it.
And it did give him small bombs, so not bad. Not a decent payoff there. It's not the mega grenades, but it's going to be progression for him for sure.
Yeah, and I think he's the first one that's dipping back into the wintry cave with the bombs since Link-a-Lot just went to do all the Medusa things.
I think this is where Link-a-Lot actually is, where Hebbings is now, because he just ran through. He just did the Ferris Bueller run.
I missed him going into the yeah.
It's okay. I also forgot how he got here. It really is a lot to keep track of, which is why notes are important and why our tracker is our most important part of our broadcast team today. So.
This is true. It does seem, though, that for places where you can fall through the floor, you do actually fall through the floor, though.
Yeah, the loops are sort of maintained.
Because I noticed that when they were in the tree, they were able to fall down the hole and go back down to the other floor without any issue.
Yeah, the tree is preserved, so once I think it's broken up into pieces, I think, like the bottom of the tree and the top of the tree are, I think, but it might all just be wholly preserved.
Do you get a different entrance if you go through the door behind Gidra, or is that still Goon Kid?
Yes. Um, it's not a separate entrance.
Okay.
Goon Kid, because it says "Go on, kid."
Yeah.
I get that now. I was today years
T I
old.
T I T TIL, right?
Yeah. It's like, yes, that is a thing that I've seen memed and referenced before, but now I understand it. So Hebbings he's getting on the Medusa treadmill here. Giga is in this same area in this sort of volcano loop. So I think exploration wise, Link has a little bit of an advantage here, but still has some exploring to do to catch up gear wise and things like that. But we're seeing the top two runners kind of filtering back into where Link has been for the past 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm sure now Link will eventually end up where Hebbings and Giga had been.
Yeah. It just isn't. I think he thinks he's gonna have a lot easier time with this fight, just because he's got that Excalibur sword. He's gonna do a lot of damage.
You know what's fascinating, RPG Chick?
What?
We have only been to the Earth and the water areas on the overworld. There's still the whole Windia area and Fireberg area. There's more chaos to be discovered in the sea.
It's true, but we do only need those Sky Coin fragments, and then they can just skip right off to Doom Castle.
That's true. And so I think we're looking at, we have boss scaling 50 to 125%, so pretty generous, probably about 80 to 90% bosses, but could be pretty high also. But with boss rush, what is your go mode look like for gear?
I mean, look, there's the ideal gear that you want, which
Sure.
of course is
Is
going
the-
to be the Dragon Claw for the extra magic percent on Dark King and all of the other bosses in Doom Castle. You'd want the best armor, you'd want the Aegis Shield, you want the Cupid Locket, you want the Apollo Helm. Of course, you want the best gear.
Yeah.
But
So-
you can get away without all of that, technically.
Yeah, so what's a minimalist approach look like for you?
So, thinking about speed running, I know that you can get away with it with just a regular helmet and armor. A lot of times, speedrunners will pick up the Aegis Shield. We do get the Cupid Locket, so we do have those insurances for status effects. And
Sure.
we always, of course, have the Dragon Claw at our disposal, as well as the Night Sword, so that if we do need a little bit of speed going into a Dark King round, we can always switch over to the Night Sword at least.
Okay. So you're saying that Giga's already almost in gear go mode.
Almost.
Yeah. And I don't think I've seen any of our runners peak at their Sky Coin count. So I don't really know where we're at. I feel like we found a good number of them. I'm assuming we're probably almost halfway there. But then again, I'm also watching 3 streams, people opening the same boxes all over the place. But I feel like every time I look down and I see somebody at a red box, it's almost always a Sky Coin that they're pulling out of it. So C might be kind of free with Sky Coins.
Because the Sky Coins are way down on the bottom, sometimes it's hard to get a sneak peek in the few times they actually open up their menus.
So we do have Artemis in chat saying that they saw 17 or 19 maybe on Hebbings. So, I mean, if you're at 19, 17, even if you're at 17 of 24 at 30 minutes, that feels pretty good.
Well, considering that you have Ruben in your party, though, and it's Ruben 1, well, now he's got Phoebe 1, but I guess that's besides the point. I would want to, if I had anybody besides Phoebe 2 in my party, I would also want either White or Flare to do
True.
damage to the Dark King because they, they
It's a
can
lot of help.
serve as triage
Yeah.
a lot of the time, but Kaylee does not have White like Ruben does.
Mhm.
So with her, you have to be the damage dealer and she has to be the triage. But with Ruben and Phoebe, you can kind of get away with being the healer if you have cure or life, just to keep things up while the Dark King is doing his business.
Good news for Heavings is we know where Wintry Cave is, so we can turn in Phoebe's item, and we know where that Windia Inn is. We found that pretty early on. So all we gotta do is swap Phoebe out and we can go back there and pick up Phoebe too. So pretty good there for Heavings, the only runner to have found Phoebe so far.
Might be making his way back to the Wintry Cave just to see what Phoebe's item is as well.
Yeah. And good for these guys. Just keeping track of all this in their head, like, or I know it's not just in their heads, but oh, regular old axe, it's fine.
For Hebbings, he doesn't need it, but
Yeah.
Linkalot, I think, still is lacking an axe at the moment, so.
This is gonna be crazy if they end up being able to get into go mode and head to the Doom Tower without going, basically without having the river or Sun Coin. Pretty fun.
Considering that the chaos of the seed, I mean, technically they may not need them at all, and it looks
Yeah.
like Giga is making his way up into Doom Castle, actually.
Maybe just checking the boxes.
Yep, that's what
Okay.
it is. Okay.
Gemini Crest being there is a cheeky little find. We have seen a handful of Gemini Crests out in the world, one under the tree in the Alive Forest, and also in the Cage Temple we saw Gemini Crest there as well. So there's Link's axe. So all our runners have an axe. All of our runners have a claw. Geek is still looking for bombs though, so he's either gonna have to kill Geedra or find Tristan and take him back to that bone dungeon floor. If he wants explosives. Which maybe he does have bombs, because he just found them in a box. So
I thought Linkalot was on the ship before, but maybe I'm misremembering.
I think so. The ship isn't only the bottom two floors. Like you can get through like the hallways of the ship are often disconnected from the rest of it. Only the ship floors that have drops are preserved.
Right.
The rest of the ship can be broken up. There's probably a joke there about like the ship of Theseus, but Float can make that joke, and he's not here. Yeah, Phoebe putting in work with that white spell gonna really help having this kind of blow through these fights. And so Giga has 8 shards, so about a third of the way through the count here. Definitely picking up momentum with the levels.
I'm really curious to see who Heavings is now. Because with Phoebe 2 in his party, honestly, he can skirt his way to Dark King if he really wants to.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough go of it because he doesn't really have very much on Ben, but
Yeah. definitely if even I mean Dark King might not have a nasty skill loadout, but with that HP, he can still be a very, very tough problem to
Oh,
solve.
sure.
And
And that's not even to
yeah,
mention everything else that he has to go through first.
true. And we don't have any cheeky exit spells to get through the first two bosses either, so we're gonna have to put up with the the Skullorus Rex and the Stone Golem refights and just
Well, since he does have Phoebe in his party, he can life
true.
Skullrus at least.
That's true.
But Stone Golem can definitely be a massive pain in the butt.
Yes. Um, so there's our Sun Coin. So if Link is so kind, he can take us to another place, and we can see the Windia area and we know that the Doom Castle backdoor box is empty. It's just a brown chest, but Windy area, there was Lava Dome on the world map. I mean, who knows what it's actually underneath it?
Hebbings
Might be.
peeked out in the Windia area for like 5 seconds, I want to say, and then ran back wherever he was going once he found Phoebe.
That's true. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, because you can get to the Windy area. You don't necessarily need the coin. It could be like a loop through a dungeon can get you there. That's right.
Yeah.
It's just impressive to me that Wildham was able to make this randomizer, make this feature actually work as well as it does, because it is. I look at it and in mind it's just literally like handfuls of sand. Like you pick it up and it all just falls through your fingers.
I imagine if you do enough of these seeds, you learn very quick and easy tricks to kind of help you figure out how to take notes on the fly, or at least remember where it is you were and how you got there and things like that. It's a lot different to just playing it than just watching it.
True. I ran a handful of these. I never learned any tricks. But there's Giga's Mega Grenade, so good for him. He's looking the best geared between that Gaia armor and the Aegis, and now the Mega Grenades. Like, that's pretty good.
At least it's not a mix of Chaos Randomizer and Save the Crystals.
Yeah. Or with progressive gear.
Yeah, having to go through all of the little nooks and crannies looking for one stupid boss would definitely be very annoying.
Yeah, for sure. And there's Giga finding the lava dome. Or no, now he's back in the volcano, but I thought we were in lava dome. No, it's just we're back in this volcano.
There's like that one there's like one room they keep running into, which is like the very upper left room where there's usually one random brown chest.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of our runners run into that room.
Yeah, it doesn't help that often the floor shuffle, the pallets, they kind of just bleed together a little bit.
Malkier confirming that Hebbings is at 19 fragments right now.
Ah, thank you. It's crazy.
Having to search for that not the one last fragment, but 5 more fragments is, you're getting really close.
Mm-hmm. I kind of in my point of reference for a lot of randomizer, especially Final Fantasy randomizers, is Final Fantasy 1 randomizer. As Hebbings gets his Gaia gear here in the back door for Ghidra, so we're gonna see what's behind the meteor box. So like in Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, when you are playing they call it shard hunt. So they, instead of lighting the 4 orbs, there's just pieces of orbs that are found in boxes.
Right.
If you kill the bosses in those games, though, like the first 2 bosses will give you 2 shards for killing them, and the later bosses will give you 4 shards for killing them. So there is an incentive to fighting bosses in that version of the game. It would be interesting. I don't know how implementable it is if you're Wildham or one of the other devs that so graciously give their time to create features. To make it so, like, if you killed Flamerous Rex, he gave you 2 Sky Coin fragments, you know, or if you killed Pazuzu, he gave you 4 Sky Coin fragments. It'd be an interesting little wrinkle. But because I know Giga, I believe, is the dev who developed the chaos, like the Randomizer, basically. And as you can see, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's fun to play. It definitely adds a little wrinkle to the game that can make you stop and pause for a second when Flamerous Rex just self-destructs and kills your whole party. God forbid the Dark King has self-destruct. You can see Link cleaning up a little bit in this lava dome area. If folks are out there, like I said at the beginning of the race, if you're out there watching and you want to get more information about this, you can come join the community. You can check out ffnqrando.net. That'll take you to the Randomizer website. Within that website is a link to the Discord. You can come hang out, learn this game, and have fun. And just it's a good time. I've been around the community for a little while, and nowhere near as a strong runner as the 3 we got here on screen. But it's a fun game, not just for racing, but for playing casually as well. Because sometimes these seeds can just take much longer than you'd probably want to sit in a race for. Giga coming back here, we're cleaning up some checks that we got now with the axe. Link making pretty good progress working through this lava dome puzzle that now Hebbings is in. Not finding a whole lot of exciting stuff, but I think he's mostly through it at this point, as is Hebbings maybe. Checking out some. The lava dome has so many entrances and little sort of paths through it, and I hope we get to see my favorite enemy sprite in the game. Yeah, right there, Giga's fighting the little turtle. It's kind of bobbing its head back and forth, just like nope. So Link picking up the river coin from the shop item lady here. Doesn't have any crests to continue this dive. Giga working through these wintry cave rear doors, which I believe our other runners have been to. And with that, Link has probably finished this lava dome. Moving on to the next entrance for him. Giga making his way into Windia. And we have a volcano, which is the lava dome. That's pretty good fortifying little mini armory with the 4 boxes. Do another stairwell. And unfortunately, we didn't find our way to the switch to open up for Hydra, but still got a couple more entrances to go into on this side of the world. Ah, that's Link gonna get his guy here. Okay. And we got Kaylee 1, but no Tree Wither. Not really a real need to wait to grab her. We got Phoebe too. So Link, ignoring that other town, maybe. Wondering if we've already been to that other town, but just excited to get to the Fireberg area, I guess. Link, please tell me how many things you have. Please, I need to know how many sky fragments you have. And there's the multi-key. So that's another check to make, but with the settings we have, I doubt we'll actually go into that room unless we find our way in through a back door. Ice Pyramid 1, there's a lot of boxes here. There's a lot of different doors to check. This is another one we'll probably see kind of loop back in on itself quite a few times. And there's Giga finding the Tristram 1 cave again. Oh. Sand Temple. Link opening these brown boxes, probably looking for seeds. And there's Hebbings using the...
So I'm to understand that Hebbings is only 2 shards away now.
Yeah, something like that. It's crazy, RPG chick. I try to focus on watching and paying attention where these run, and that's all over the place.
Well, I will say with Link on the bottom floor of the pyramid, that's a lot of doorways.
It's a lot of doorways, and he's now found the 2 of the 3 shop ladies, and has bought a river coin and a tree wither. So interesting that she's actually selling something this time. Usually she tries to want to sell me like a refresher, 500 gold.
Well, I think some of the locations have been prioritized. So the NPCs in the battlefields have been prioritized, so that might be why she actually has some good stuff instead of a refresher.
That's fair. There's the top of so Link just finding all these little, and there's the switch. So we did find the other side of the Hydra door a couple entrances ago, but unfortunately we don't have an exit spell, so we got to do this the long way. And Giga picking up Tristram, I would imagine, so we can get Phoebe. Yeah, everybody's got Phoebe too.
Because why wouldn't you if you have the choice?
Yeah, for real. Link with the most overworld open to him, having all the coins, really showing us some new stuff here. It's not a whole lot. It definitely seems like the early forest area and Aquaria areas sort of contain the meat of progression and entrances, where we're finding a lot of brown boxes here on the back end now in this Fireberg area. Or floors we just don't even want to bother with, because who wants to fight metal slimes?
Not unless you got a dragon claw, although they do have mega grenades and all of the slimes are weak to bombs.
And he did just grab the Venus key. So pretty good too. You know, that's two more boxes to open. And Spencer's Cave was pretty early, so Link, hit pause and show me. Show me how many sky. 21. Okay. Thank you for reading my mind.
He's like, I got you. I got you.
Having's probably feeling a little bit better there, finding the back end of the mine and getting his Aegis shield. So he's sitting pretty defensively. You know, Apollo Helm almost just as good as the Moon Helm, or Moon Helm's almost good as the Apollo Helm. They both have the fire resistance, but Apollo Helm just has a little bit more defense rating on it.
Right. With Hebbings and Link a lot with both the X-Cal, they will get that speed boost though, which is nice when they need it. And they do at least all have the Charm Claw, which is a little bit of extra magic. So even if they don't ever find the Dragon Claw, it's totally fine.
Yeah. And levels looking pretty good. Link and Heb are both 19. Giga's right there. I mean, to think that like Giga did that reset, you know, like 4 or 5 minutes in, and is really caught up. Just a few levels behind, but it's, you know, just as much progression. Some more so. You know, he was early into the crest before everyone else. So definitely wasn't punished for that early pivot to get out of that Chimera fight.
No, thankfully.
But he does send the bird home.
Knowing how to go through Pazuzu's tower, even not under these circumstances, is difficult. So trying to figure out how to pinpoint the bird now is so much worse.
Yeah. Having's rewarded with a Thunder Rock. Okay. That'll get us back into the door dispensers. That is preserved in the floor shuffle.
So a French vanilla rock, essentially.
Sure.
I mean, Ruben's dad and Ruben were involved. It's sort of kind of French vanilla-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I do like when Tristram 2 and Firebird will give you the Dragon Claw in the randomizer sometimes. It's always fun. Like, hey, you took this from me in the beginning of the game. Thank you for giving it back.
I will say it's nice that the battlefields still maintain their shuffled color. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, as soon as the battlefields were able to be shuffled, I remember being around back in the early days. Probably, I think Wildham's had this up for a little over a year now, and I think it was like the end of 2021 he launched it, and it's really come a long way in that first year of the randomizer. And I remember when the battlefields were initially being like played around with as like being able to be shuffled and stuff like that, and then the idea for color coding them was just I forget who suggested it, but it was a pretty heads up play. So we get a captain's cap. Fun.
Does that even net you anything in this kind of version of the randomizer? I mean, because the only thing you really use the captain's cap for is to get the access to the boat.
Yeah, it gets you access to the boat, and I think it gives you Captain Max item. But the likelihood that we would need his item isn't very high. So
Well, I guess it does give you the backdoor access to Focus Tower. So there is
yeah,
that.
yeah. If you don't have the, the shortcut turned on,
Yeah. Well, even if you don't, would it lead you somewhere else, or would it actually lead you to Focus Tower always?
it should always lead you to Focus Tower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. If only I there's the good day. Okay. For a second, I was like, is it gonna be the Goon Kid? is is that a randomly preserved option? Um, you did put it in my head. It would be neat if you could sail around. Yeah.
It would. It would.
Link,
Unfortunately, you wouldn't really be able to go much of anywhere then.
yeah, it is fun that there's almost like a Super Mario effect of world navigation. Like,
Mm.
I want to see a map like edit where we have like the paths, and instead of like the dungeons have like a little red or a little yellow dot in front of them. Be fun. But Link is going to take out Ghidra as well, and you know, it turns into a sky coin, but I don't remember. I think that part of the tree was in the India area. I think it was in the mine was where everybody, because it was the same room where we found the Gaia armor. So
Well, I will say, it does look like Link is pretty well shored up, at least on wizard magic. Because I saw thunder, I saw a meteor, and I saw a flare in there.
okay. And we know Cure and Life were very early as well, so yeah.
Pretty nice seed, at least in that way.
Yeah, for real. 24, so Link is at his... He does... The only thing I think that would be a nice to have for him would be a hat. Either Apollo or Moonhelm, but...
It would be, but I sincerely doubt that Link is going to take the time to go hunting
Yeah.
for a helmet. He's just going to go rush at this point.
Yeah, it's 100% just a nice to have. I mean, we've got 800 HP. That's pretty good, you know. Would you... Is level 20 enough for you to take on Dark King?
I've done it at less, so yes.
Nobody likes to show off RPG shape, alright? I need my security blanket of HP.
Hey, I'm not good at a lot of stuff, but at least I can try to attempt Dark King at lower levels.
I can respect that. I'm actually kind of impressed that Link, because I wonder if Hebbings is just missing a handful, still 2 shards away, but it felt like he was pretty well stocked with shards. I didn't think Link was that close to him.
Yeah, with Link has just been grabbing them up left and right in the last
Yeah.
10-15 minutes.
10,000 HP. Oof. Just glad you don't have to chew through that.
Well, we still got the next obstacle here.
And pretty confident we didn't find exits, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way.
Yeah,
As
but
intended.
at least Link has Meteor. It's not white, but at least it'll do some damage to Stone Golem where Flare won't.
Okay. Guess we're casting them both just to kind of see for sure. Yeah, it's about like 100 damage more than Meteor. But yeah, not doing a whole lot of anything on
Yeah, where Ice Golem just melts to the Flare spell, the Stone Golem doesn't have that same fire weakness.
The
Which
randomizer is like it won me over the first time I got to fight a Golem with Flare and just blew him away with like 4,000 damage. It's amazing.
it's a nice revenge, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Link cruising at the moment. I felt like I cut you off. Or would you check what were you gonna say?
Darned if I remember.
Okay.
It couldn't have been too important if I don't remember.
I mean, I learned it through Hebbings is actually the one that taught me that Meteor is your preferred spell of choice here on the Hydra.
Yeah, the Hydra does have a slight weakness for Earth. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a huge weakness, but it definitely will do a good amount of damage here. White is only better here because the animation is a little bit shorter, but not by much.
Talking like a speedrunner. Love it.
Nope.
Is Hebbings gonna show us the back of Spencer's? What?
It looks like it.
Love it. And Link is onto the Z fight and blowing away his minions pretty handedly. So enemy HPs were on a different scale than bosses. Enemies were 50 to 100, bosses 50 to 125. So the same floor, just different ceilings.
I mean, look, if Medusa got the Doom Dance and Zod does not have the Doom Dance, it is the best bird ever. Any bird that doesn't have Doom Dance is a good bird.
Yeah, I mean, just cruising. I gotta be honest, like, before the race started, I was sitting in voice, and we were just, like, kind of talking, like, just talking to the runners, and we were talking about the flags, and Hebbings made a comment that he's gotten through these. He said an hour 50 to 2 hours, and I thought he said an hour 15, and I was like, "You're kidding me! Like, there's no way you're getting through one of these seeds in 75 minutes." And he's like, "No, I said hour 50." And I was like, "Okay, that makes some sense as a human being."
And then you have Link.
Yeah, but here we are, Link, human task.
I gotta give Link credit. Link is a really amazing Mystic Quest randomizer runner. So,
and yeah, like already into phase 2, just cruising.
It was a pretty lightweight one, though.
Yeah. Now we know that the different phases. So there are 4 phases of the Dark King fight. You can stop me when I say something that's wrong. So I'm sure this is going to be very quickly. There are 4 phases to the Dark King fight, and I believe in the vanilla they all have the same amount of HP, and I think it's all about 10,000. In the randomizer, each phase can have a different amount of HP.
Correct. Yes.
And I know
so each phase can roll really light or really chunky.
Right. Hebbings, runner after my own heart, sends Norma home. Gotta respect the play. It's important. Dark King not... Oh, Dark... Oh!
Dark King has Doom Dance!
Alright. So... That's bad luck.
And the thing is usually the enemy skills that appear in the 3rd phase also appear in the 4th phase, although I don't know if that's been changed. So that's 2 full phases of Doom Dance, not to mention this Dark King. The 3rd phase was looking pretty hefty.
Yeah, soaked a couple whites and flares. Hebbings has found 2 more shards here, so he's gotta be really close. That's shit. I didn't know that jump. That jump to the left, like I've always just like, I can jump to get up there, but I gotta walk around. Just jump on the left. This is why it pays to watch other people play this game.
It's true, it's true. You learn a lot of stuff watching the little things that other people pick up.
Yeah, wild. All right, Fate. Oh, there's the Doom Dance. We got lucky and it missed. Phoebe being blinded here isn't that much of an issue.
No, blind will only affect you if you're trying to either attack or if you're trying to use white magic on one of the enemies. Otherwise, it's completely irrelevant.
Pretty good turn order there, Spider Kids. So a little twist on the vanilla spider face.
Yeah, but Link knows now that with the Dark King having Doom Dance, he's going to have to make sure that he keeps both of his characters up as much as possible.
And there's the phase 4. So it's 2,000 into it. 4,000-ish. Doom Dance misses, so confirm your
I'm not even
theories.
running and my breath catches in my throat on those Doom Dances.
There's 8,000, so there it is. GG's to Sir Link-a-Lot. Well done, my friend.
That is a really amazing time for this kind of seed.
How you
Yeah, I
feeling?
thought I was going way too fast, but okay. I'm just like looking at my sky count, coin count. I'm like, oh, I'm almost there. I only need a couple more so I can shortcuts on, so I don't need Dragon Claw. It's like I literally just have to go find these. I've got Phoebe too. I've got more than enough levels, I feel. I'm just like, all right, let's just go find these coins.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it was just like all gas, no brakes, just downhill the whole way.
And not to mention, y'all, like all of you found Gaia Armor, Aegis Shield, Cupid Locket, and then you have Flare and Meteor, which I know Giga picked up Meteor, but I'm not sure about Hebbings yet.
I wonder if that's what Hebbings is looking for, some sort of damage option, because he's got to be good on fragments.
He can technically do triage while Phoebe does white, though.
Because I think that's this 4th fragment that he's found since I've kind of been watching off the side of my eye since Link entered, and he was at 19 like 20 minutes ago, so there's no way that he's not at 24.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure he's got enough sky coins.
Yeah. Giga was lagging a little bit behind in the coin count, but was keeping pace gear-wise. It's always fascinating how like those little discrepancies in the pathing sort of add up. But Link, what was your plan of attack going in to the speed?
Take good notes, know where I was locked out and what I was looking for. Finding a claw relatively early was really nice because I didn't have to worry about, hey, I'm locked out of this, because you don't really realize it until you actually play most of the game without a claw. But no claw locks a lot.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just, trying to find a good partner right away because, Ben's not the greatest on his own, especially when I saw a lot of the early dungeons were like Pazuzus. And I was just like, yeah, Ben at level 1 is, this isn't going to work. I wasn't exactly happy with Tristram 2 as my partner, but he carried his weight for a good portion of it. And then it's like I found Ruben. I was like, all right, cool. I can go turn Ruben in, get Ruben 2, and I've got White. And then immediately found Phoebe. I'm like, well, sorry, Ruben. We're leaving you. And we're just going to go get Phoebe 2 and probably never look back at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's
awesome.
what most of the runners have done at this point. Now that they have found Phoebes, they have their Phoebes.
Yeah, I think having swapped her back to Ruben just to get his item in the back of the mine and then immediately flip back as soon as he could.
I thought about doing it, but I was just like with Phoebe, I had so much opening with the Pazuzus where I was just like, I can go into everything and I'm not worried about a single fight at this point. She's just going to cast White before anything goes. nothing's gonna really stop me at this point. Um, and yeah, I was just like, considered it, but I'm just like, he's probably not locking anything I absolutely need right now because realistically, I'm at the point where I just need sky coins. I wasn't even really worried about damage because with Ben already having Cure in life, I could have just had him triage if I needed to, or worst case, just have him swing Excalibur and deal with a little bit, significantly less damage, but it would get the job done still.
Yeah, that's definitely a safe approach for sure.
It looks like Hebbings is finally making his way up the tower, but he missed the right staircase. After all of that going back and forth, though, I don't know how any of our runners are not flustered as heck.
Yeah. Link, how do you keep your notes for these? Asking for selfish reasons.
So I've got like I started doing like abbreviations for all the specific areas, and then I would just like note down, is it locked by claw, locked by axe, whatever it's locked by. And then if there was an entrance I couldn't get to, like if it was multiple entrances, I just put in like whatever quadrant, northwest, west, whatever it was, where it went to, what it was locked by. And then as I cleared it out and I didn't need it anymore, I just completely got rid of it on my notes. So it's just like, if it's not on my notes, I don't care about it anymore.
I'll just like make these really abbreviated notes. It's very long explanation of what quadrant is, what it's locked by, how many stairs. It's just like
yeah. I mean, the idea is like I want to go as fast as possible. And if I'm sitting there and I I could stop moving and take more detailed notes, but it's just like then I'm not going as fast. And if you're moving, so I'm just like, what's the shortest hand I can make these to where I can glance at them and still know what the heck is going on.
Here's the old person question: paper or computer notes?
Computer notes. I can do those one-handed. Paper notes, not so much.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Too old for this game, Link.
I mean, I feel you on that one still, but...
Hebbings working his way up the tower, the shortcut here. I do love the advent of the boss rush in the randomizer. I like vanilla Doom Tower. It's a fun dungeon to do as far as like JRPG or RPG in-game dungeons. It's a fun, very aesthetically pleasing final dungeon. But it is nice to just have the big, thick stairwell to walk up.
It's also nice not having to go through the multitude of mobs on Zoo's floor, especially.
True, and removing the potential for banana peels and falling back down. Yeah.
Or doing what I've done once, which was accidentally hit exit instead of cure.
Oh, the exit boss gotcha.
Yep.
Need to get a confirm menu prompt.
No, please don't give me extra buttons to press. That's the last thing I need.
There's that speedrunner mentality.
I gotta preserve what little is left of my hands.
That's fair. Also speaking as a whole person.
I think we're all relatively close in age in the Mystic Quest Rando community, so...
It doesn't make us young.
No.
Hebbings making pretty quick work here of Giga inching his way closer with the shard count. Is there with the gear, like looking great.
Link, I have a question for you. How angry were you when you saw that Phase 3 of Dark King had Doom Dance?
I wasn't angry until it actually landed on Phoebe, and I was just like, oh, well, of course. At the one time, like, all right, well, I'm playing safer next time, because now that I know he has it, it's just like, I can avoid it. And then, second go through, he's just like, I'm going to Doom Dance, but it's never going to land. I'm like, well, cool. Give me those free turns. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was mentioning the race that we had together with the long time you spent in the zoo fight because he kept Doom Dancing you back during the tournament.
Yeah, and I don't think I had life either. So
No.
that's what made it even more fun.
I think the greatest exposure that the randomizer has done to the vanilla game is just really highlighted how bad black magic is in this game.
Black magic exists.
Right?
Actually, I guess I shouldn't say that because I think I tried to use arrow a couple times, knowing the monster was still weak to it instead of use a seed. But
yeah,
Phoebe decided it's like, hey, they're low enough, my weight's gonna kill it, so you don't have to cast that black magic. Get that out of here.
I mean,
Yeah,
look,
it's like-
when in doubt, arrow is a nice semi backup, but yeah.
yeah.
Oh, something's weak to wind. Arrow will typically hit for almost as much as wizard spells. So
Yeah.
you know, if it's that, hey, I don't want to use a turn doing a seed, it's gonna do that damage. So it saves a little bit of time.
So, Wild Ham, the next thing you need to program is a shuffle of enemy weaknesses, yes?
Oh no.
Don't give him ideas like that.
Oh no. Only if we get like a gear randomizer that randomly puts different resistance here too.
God.
It's like I might only have a steel helmet, but it's got all kinds of resistances.
Well, Epicinem with the original Mystic Quest randomizer did something like that. It just, unfortunately, when you got a new piece of armor, it would overwrite the resistances of the old one.
Oh yeah, that would not be good. Nope. As Hebbing's into his first phase 3 fight here, we'll see if he gets Doom danced back to the start of the fight.
I mean, at least the good thing is that phase 1 and phase 2 were not too terrible.
True. Oh, I gotta love finding a late Flamer's Rex. Just, hey
Just
buddy,
tear through it.
good to see you. How have you been?
How you doing?
I'm gonna get
okay,
these
great.
things behind you, okay? Bye. Say hi to the folks.
That's up there with finding the ice golem when you have flyer. And it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hi, ice golem. You're gonna die in one shot.
Yeah, sorry about this. I don't think you got the memo, but I found Flare. Goodbye.
Link, you don't run the vanilla at all, do you?
Nope, I do not.
Okay. Because you definitely have a good working knowledge of when to use the auto AI on your partner and when not to. So I was just curious because I know some of the Mystic Quest randomizer runners who haven't speedrun it are not as familiar with how the AI can work sometimes, or maybe just forget that it's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's typically who it is, because like if it's only attackers, I'm usually going to leave them on auto, unless I have heal potions in the inventory, because then they'll start using them, and it's like, I don't want you to do that. Or I know it happened once where Tristram used a heal potion because he was poisoned. I was just like, you wasted your turn, don't do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Having said that, phase 4.
I think that's actually the worst I felt the whole time, was that Medusa fight, because it took forever.
Oh
Hey,
gosh, with the
duplicate yourself. I was
duplication,
just like, well, if I wipe, I hope those werewolves don't have anything bad, because I am not killing them until she's low.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the little treadmill action working. But there it is for Hebbing. So get those GGs in chat for Hebbing's 120. Still a crazy good time on these flags.
Yeah, considering what he told us, that might be a personal best.
Yeah. GG's, buddy.
Oh, thank you. GG's. I killed some time fishing for some offensive items, and I just couldn't find any spells, so I said, F it,
we were
I'm just going to take the
wondering
sword.
what you were looking for.
A flare, white, a big rock, something to kill him, better than Excalibur. But
hey,
I was like,
found Thunder Rock.
I did, and I didn't think my go mode would be locked onto Captain Mac's ship, but you know, you do something new every day with the settings.
So Flare was in Fireberg region there was a battlefield, and that's where Flare was.
See, I never found my river coin. I don't even know where it was.
That was
Merchants
for
had it.
sale for like 200 gold.
Did I walk past the merchant like 3 times and just not talk to her?
The other merchant had something else.
There was a battle axe for one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Tree Wither was the other
Tree Wither, that's
Oh,
what it was.
yeah.
Link had Tree
Wait.
Wither and the
Where
river
was the
coin.
merchant? The merchant with river coin.
one. Somewhere.
Was it in
He
Forest?
deleted
though?
his notes.
Oh man.
No, I didn't delete mine. Well, I mean, that note I never had because I already had the money for it. So I was like, buy river
True.
coin, good. I've got river coin. We're good.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Giga
think I
is
probably
making
just.
their way up tower, just as an FYI. So we do have our last runner climbing now.
All right, that's
Very
pretty good
nice.
too. Yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with what the three of you were able to do with these flags.
Oh yeah, it looks like insanity. Like I almost give myself an aneurysm watching myself play sometimes. I'm like, what is happening?
There was a moment where RPG chick had to walk away, and I didn't know that she had walked away right away. And I was just like, ah.
Especially navigating Lava Dome, that first section of
Yeah.
Lava Dome with 16 doors, and you're just like, and I don't know if Ham did this on purpose or if it's just the logic in the way it gates, but looping in that room is very disorienting because everything looks the same and you end up somewhere else in the same section. You're like, wait, where am I?
Yeah, or when you loop over to the other side, and it's like when then one of the doors doesn't loop back, but like kicks you to a town, and you're just like, oh no,
Oh, yeah.
oh no.
This is not my beautiful house.
Does Giga not know that Phoebe can life Skullrus?
He might not. It's okay though. This shows off that Skullrus and Stone Golem are no longer broken. Thank the Lord, because I couldn't imagine not having anything for offense and having to fight an Ultra Golem. That would be terrifying.
Oh, you talk about the golem that threw like 2,000 HP bricks at you?
Yeah, so a funny little coding thing. Skullrus Rex here and the Stone Golem were coded as normal enemies instead of bosses. So because of that, normal enemies' damage scales off their total HP value. So you give a normal enemy super jacked super jacked boss HP, and all of a sudden you have Stone Golem chucking 2,000 to 3,000 damage at you a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
that
wait,
has since been fixed.
wait. Because I mean, that's how it was programmed in the original game. But did Ham manage to program the proper HP while still leaving the life and exit intact? Because that's
So-
pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I think basically all he did was he set them as either static HP scaling or he managed to leave the exploits while setting them as boss codes. I'll have to ask him. He works some wizardry in the back end though. Exit and life still work on them and they're still coded as bosses.
Yeah, because I mean, that was the whole reason why exit and life worked on them to begin with, was that they weren't coded as bosses.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm learning so much.
yeah, it's everything Ham has done with this randomizer to me is wizardry. Like
Is there a wizardry randomizer?
there probably is.
Probably.
There's a randomizer for everything these days.
This is one of my favorites for sure.
Oh yeah, I think this is honestly like the most new player friendly randomizer and like new to randomizer friendly one out there, because it's like Mystic Quest isn't a complex game and you can start this off and just kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah, if you keep the settings sort of basic, like at least with the maps, right? If you keep it vanilla map, vanilla entrances, that kind of thing, it's one of the few randomizers that you, and for me, like, you pick up, play a seed, and put it down, and just play like 3 or 4 seeds in a row, and not really get a lot of seed bleed, where it's just like, wait a minute, like, because there's not a lot of, you never really need to double back where you go, like there's not, it happens, sure, but I don't feel like it's super common that like you're going through the game with vanilla maps and it's like, okay, I gotta come back to Aquaria, because I don't have a claw or whatever to get through some of these places. Like, it definitely happens, but usually you can just kind of like get through it, and there's a little bit of a puzzle aspect to it, but it's not as much as like I've seen with like some like Zelda or Super Metroid or even Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, where it's just like there's a lot of like sometimes you just need to either keep digging or just like looking around, and like you said, Mystic Quest feels very sort of beginner friendly, and
The
It's
only
a-
thing
it's a-
you might not want to do right off the bat is shuffle in the brown chests, just because there
Yeah.
are quite a lot of really random locations for some of those, especially underneath the trees behind the warps.
yeah, that's a good call. Yeah. Again,
Yeah,
when I
it-
first started playing the randomizer, the brown boxes shuffle wasn't even a thing. It was a pipe dream. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's the best thing about this randomizer is just options. There's so many options. Like, I think what we showcased tonight was, I don't know, would you agree, Sir Linkalot, probably some of the most difficult settings you can turn on for the randomizer so far, besides jacking up the HP or the enemy damage?
Yeah, I would say that because you can hit that. We didn't really. I mean, I didn't really hit a brick wall anywhere here, but it's definitely one of those ones. The monsters, you can get a nasty
Oh,
set of
no.
monsters that just
Oh,
make
yeah.
it
Giga,
possible.
Giga just got Psych Shield.
He's spaced out. No.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Feels bad.
It does feel bad. I am happy I didn't get stuck on any of these bosses not having flare or white, being perfectly honest. Like, none of them were too particularly nasty.
Hebbings, did you even have a single Doom Dance on Dark King?
No, he had it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
He wiped me with Doom Down.
Oh, no.
Phase 3 and 4 had it.
No, my only real pucker moment was when he started breaking out Spider Kids. It's like, oh no, I actually have to do something. Pay attention. Hold up. That's a threatening move, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I think as far as like the difficulty settings for these flags, I think the only, and it circles back to the age-old question: is it difficulty or is it tedium? But to
Mhm.
like put on progressive gear and maybe save the crystals, so you're forced to go in and having to fight all of the bosses, needing progression to get through them.
Finding them. Can you imagine having these settings and having to find and pin down Pazuzu? I've done it once.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
I
awful.
think
That sigh was the ultimate painful sigh, Hebbings, at this point.
Yeah, I was actually thinking it's like I didn't see any of the bosses.
Yeah, no, I kind of spit in Pazuzu's face, and then I saw Ice Golem, but he didn't have anything good. But
Oh,
I think that's
okay.
just
So yeah, I
yeah.
saw Pazuzu on like second floor, but actually like seeing one to where I could fight it, no, I didn't. Didn't see
Yeah,
Ice
no.
Golem, didn't see
Giga
Skull, didn't see
yeah,
Twin.
Giga
Nope.
killed the dinosaur.
Oh
But,
yeah, did he have anything good?
Not really.
He got the Apollo helm back there.
It's okay, but it wasn't really necessary for what the enemy skills you had in here were.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
I'm still feeling a little bit like a dummy missing the river coin vendor, but I guess I got to showcase a completely different go mode route.
Yeah. The
So,
rookie mistake. I think you hate to see it.
Yeah.
We
At
were
this level.
commenting on it earlier, but y'all really were all over the place. Like everybody was taking a different route pretty much.
Yeah. Because Aquaria was like a dead end. Like three of the entrances just led to single rooms with like a
Yeah.
chest.
But here's
I was
Giga.
happy with that. I didn't have to go back.
Right? Yeah. Just like, oh, and I found Windia Inn. Perfect. Now I'm just like finding Phoebe.
Yeah, that was the change in. I immediately it's like, hey, found Phoebe 1. It's like drop everything, go back to Wintry Cave,
Yep.
get Phoebe 1, pick up Tristram 2 on the way, get up Phoebe 2. It's like, all right, I'm done with people. It's like, what about Ruben 1? You know where the back of mine is? I do. I don't care.
Yeah. He had, I mean, the back of mine's had Age of Shield, which was a nice pickup, but I don't think anything really used Petrify on us.
I think if I'm working through the seed in the back in my head, like running back through it,
Oh, he does
I
have
think-
Doom Dance.
what
Sorry.
pushed Link sort of ahead was being able to do the Tristram check with Tristram the first time he found it, and not having to double back. Because at that point, you and Giga had Ruben with you, and Link hadn't found Ruben yet, but was still carrying Tristram around, and so getting the early mega grenades, I think, because at that point, like I think that gave you had bombs and claw at that point. I think you were just an axe down from having weapon access to everything.
Yeah, the funny thing was, I almost like didn't even go check because I'm like, I've got Tristram 2. He can't do this check. I need to find Tristram 1 for this. I'm like, I'll go to the thing anyways just to be safe. And I saw him pop out. I'm like, oh, I can check this. You want my mega grenades? Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, that I think we both learned that Tristram 2 can give you Tristram 1's item.
Yeah, that because the way he's coded. I can we talk about for a second how good this seed made Tristram 2 look? Because he's not normally that good.
It's true.
Don't be deceived. Tristram 2 is usually not the go-to pick, but for some reason we went to every area which had enemies with shoot vulnerability, and Tristram was just paralyzing people with GGs.
GG's Giga.
Yeah, I agree with that because it was like when I saw Tristram 2, I was just like, that's not who I want to see. And he's just like carrying his weight more. I'm just like, this is not the Tristram 2 I know. Like, I know he can do this, but this is not the way it works normally.
Yeah, if only he's that useful all the time.
And we got Giga, GG's Giga.
GG, Giga wins. Giga doesn't win the race, but Giga wins the seed.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I'm feeling very glad that the Dark King was so easy.
It's fair.
Yeah, after having to puzzle our way through that seed, I think all of us are kind of like, oh, we just kind of coasted through those final boss fight rooms.
Giga, early on, you took basically a reroll out of a Chimera fight. What was going through?
What was going through my mind
there?
there?
Yeah, walk me through your emotions in that experience.
I was thinking, hey, maybe the Chimera has really bad stats, really low stats. Maybe the Chimera has really stupid, useless attacks. Maybe I can win this. And I couldn't. Like, I had to try, right?
Yeah. I mean, had to is a strong way to put it, but sure. No, I get it. It's curiosity.
Right.
It's one of those things like, 'cause if you can push through it, other people might not. And that's can be kind of the thing that ripples out and really helps you.
Right.
But all in all, like the reroll, because it happened at like the 4 or 5 minute mark, so like it wasn't.
Oh, I just died and forgot to save. That's all.
Yeah. I thought you had saved it. So
No, I had completely forgotten. I was too focused on everything else.
yeah, I can respect that. The amount of times I've played this game and I've just forgot to save and I've pulled a fight that I had no business pulling, and essentially soft locked myself. I'm just like, well,
I tried to. Well, it
guess I'll
wasn't
just re-roll a seed.
It wasn't Ghidra, but I tried to run from something else that I was unable to run from because my stats were too low, and I just had to die and reset my name.
Yeah, maybe that was the Chimera fight.
It wasn't the Chimera. It was a what do they call it? King Good. Yeah, that was the Chimera. Sorry.
Yeah.
I keep getting Chimera and Ghidra confused.
Yeah, Ghidra's the boss.
Ghidra is the boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the name's based on a Godzilla kaiju enemy.
At least the reset only happened a few minutes in rather than like 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't set too far back, but I believe it happened again later on in the run.
At least you can save anywhere.
Yep. Don't have to go find an inn.
True. Well, GG's. Link, you got any final thoughts, man?
No, it was a fun and interesting seed. I was not expecting to go that fast, but that's how it turned out, and I'm looking forward to playing this mode more now that I know to take notes.
What did I miss?
What'd you miss?
Yeah, who won? I'm
Link-
obviously
Link.
coming in third. Link
Link
won?
did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, dude.
Having thoughts?
I might pay a little bit more attention to shop houses in the future. But aside from that, no, I'm really glad that first of all, I want to thank all of you for helping us do this. We can't obviously put on these races and these showcases without the community and everything you guys do. So thank you again. And I'm really glad we got to showcase this mode and the wacky different ways you can complete it. Like there is, I think the Divergence, even though it was like 13 minutes completion difference between me and Sir Link a lot in Giga, it really kind of got to showcase that there's multiple answers to this puzzle. It's just a matter of how you tackle it. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. Even if I came in second, I'm happy that I did as well as I did, because this could easily take like 2 hours plus.
Thank you for
100%.
not taking 2 hours plus.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure.
We're old people and it's bedtime.
It is.
Giga, final thoughts, buddy?
Nothing.
That's fair. It's a mood. I get it. Well, RPG
No
Chick,
thoughts, Adam, too.
thank you so much for hopping in the booth with me. Malkier, thank you so much for doing the tracking behind the scenes. RPG Chick, I'll let you take us home.
Yeah, so thank you again to Final Fantasy Randomizer and ADR for letting us do this a lot lately. So thank you very much, because it hasn't just been this one, it's been a couple of them lately. And for helping us set up the VODs and whatnot. We definitely very much appreciate the Final Fantasy Randomizer community and all of the help that they give to the Mystic Quest community. Otherwise, hopefully we'll see y'all again soon.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see.
Enjoy the rest of your evenings, folks.